Each and every year, people set New Year's resolutions with good intentions. But every year, by mid-January, most of them fall apart. And it's not because people are lazy or lack discipline, it's because they're aiming at the wrong intentions. Usually those intentions are set based on societal pressures, what they see other people doing and what they feel like they need to be setting their goals on. And what happens is that leads the resolutions to being outcome-based instead of identity-based. Because when they're copied from social pressure, from what everyone else is doing, then it doesn't come from any internal clarity. And on top of that, you begin setting goals that you really don't have any idea or real clarity on how the goals themselves should operate. And so all your resolutions are doing are ignoring your current energy, ignoring the chapter or season of life that you happen to be in, and any internal friction that you have around certain experiences from the past year, maybe some goals that you set previously that you didn't quite accomplish and are beating yourself up a bit on. And with that, I want to remind you, most people don't abandon their goals. Their goals actually abandon them and who they are, because they were never even aligned with them to begin with. So I want to give you the 3 key reasons why people don't follow through on their goals. And the first is because those goals are disconnected from identity. You're setting goals for who you wish you were or want to become, not who you are right now, and the person that you tell yourself you can be in the present tense. And without that identity to bridge you and your desired actions, they're going to fall right through. You will not rise to the level of your goals. You will fall to the level of your identity. The second reason that I just hinted at before is that you're not considering your energy and your overall capacity, whether that's cognitive or physical. You're actually overestimating the impact of discipline and even motivation, and underestimating the amount of friction that there is between you and the action. And that leads to you ignoring your cognitive, emotional, and physical bandwidth as well. And if your nervous system is already overloaded, whether it be from the comparison or guilt or self-doubt, adding more goals on top of all of that just adds more pressure and friction. The third reason, which is probably the most fundamental mistake that people make, is the goals are just way too abstract and not solidified. I want to get in shape this year, or I want to make more money, I want to be more disciplined. What the hell does that mean? That gives no traction to anything. So rather than just falling back onto general ambition, clarity is where you win. Because ambition without that clarity literally just turns into guilt, as you've already experienced. So, in 2026, as you're watching this today, I want you to, instead of focusing on resolutions, focus on your own internal clarity. So, step 1 in this model for creating clarity and identity-driven goals is to define the identity that you are building and that you are embodying starting right now. I am someone who trains consistently. I am a persistent exerciser. I am a healthy eater. I am someone who operates with focus. I am a promise keeper to myself and to others. So step 2, now that you have that identity, you need to identify the bottlenecks and the constraints that are holding you back. Not everything all at once, just one big bottleneck. You don't need to fix your whole life just because now the calendar says 2026. You need to remove the one thing that keeps holding you back and breaking your momentum. Now that you're starting to build clarity on that, step number 3 is begin the process of designing systems for yourself to fall back onto rather than willpower to try to force yourself into. And that might mean constructing your environment in a way that is beneficial to you, cleansing and clearing out things that you don't need, decluttering, maybe even organizing your desk setup in the most ergonomic way. Once the environment feels good, then you go into structuring your life in a certain way, whether that's through time blocking or time boxing and certain schedule-oriented structures. And with that, also removing anything that might present friction to you, any sort of negative habits that you want to avoid, or coming back to that identity statement of who you tell yourself you are. Because discipline is what people use when there's no clarity involved. It's when you just feel like you gotta, with brute force, do the things that you want to do regardless of whether you feel like doing them or feel like you're the person that does them. But when clarity is present intrinsically, your behavior, it becomes obvious. And then All you are doing is acting in commitment and dedication to who you are. It's like if I were to tell you, you can't smoke a cigarette for the next 30 days, and you're not someone that smokes cigarettes because you're clear on that being a part of your identity. You are not a smoker. The action of avoiding cigarettes, it does not require discipline. It's just an obvious choice. So if I were you going into 2026, this is exactly what I would do. Pick 1 to 3 non-negotiables, 1 to 3 priorities, not 10. From there, you build the identity-aligned habits and make sure that they can exist completely independent of the outcome that it's working towards. It's important to set that SMART goal, that outcome, but then detach from it and work on the steps that get you there. One thing that I can also encourage, clarity doesn't come from learning more and hearing opinions of others and whatever. It comes from eliminating as much excess as possible. So make sure to reduce your inputs before adding on outputs. And this next thing, this is something that I've struggled with probably the most throughout my life as a prototypical overthinker, analyzer, all those things. Focus on momentum instead of optimization. Get the ball rolling. Start acting one step, one foot in front of the other, instead of having every step needing to be perfect. Optimization only matters when the momentum is so high that small little tweaks present exponential returns. But if you're not taking action consistently, then what fucking good does it do to have to be perfect every little step? And yes, that basically just means you're making the consistency a boring, automatic effort. But that's where the elite of elite performers thrive. It's in doing the things repeatedly that they know will equal a optimal output. In a sense, the goal of January for you, if you're someone that's been struggling to keep up with your resolutions, January is not about transformation. January is about how do you stabilize yourself. So remember, as you're on social media, scrolling through, seeing what everyone else is doing and what you feel like you need to be doing and whatever, the people who win the year are not the ones that are the most motivated. They're the ones that are most aligned. And that alignment turns into confidence, which will then reinforce your motivation system. So if you want help getting clarity on what actually matters to you, not generic goals and social pressure or anything else, that's exactly what I help people with inside the Clarity Code. And the goal setting portion of what I offer is specifically designed to help you align your identity, your energy, your habits and systems so that follow through on those things becomes natural and intrinsic instead of being forced. And for 2026, I'm offering 2 complimentary full coaching sessions to up to 10 people who click the link below or comment clarity on my Instagram. So if any of what I just said sounds relevant, make sure to check that out. Hit that subscribe button for me, like the video. I'm gonna continue to break down all things clarity, performance, and alignment throughout this year. Let's have a great 2026 and get the ball rolling how we should. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.